Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me in another video. In the past, my reviews on city building games have been some of the most popular, so today I want to take a look at Foundation. This game is currently in early access on Steam and has been available since February of 2019. It claims to be a part of a new era of city building games due to its grid-free placement, organic development, and monument construction. Is Foundation really living up to this claim? Is it ready to play in early access? And is it worth the $30 price tag? Let's dive right in and take a look. When you begin a new game of Foundation, you will be given the choice between a few pre-constructed maps. I personally prefer randomly generated maps, but Foundation still gives you the option of where you want to settle your city. This choice doesn't really alter your gameplay, it's more or less a choice of landscape that you get to build within. The first structure you are required to place is a village center, followed by a builder's workshop. From that point on, there is a very loose guide that recommends what you should build, but ultimately the decision is left up to you. The process of placing buildings may seem like it isn't worth paying any attention to, but this is actually one of the highlights of the game. Because Foundation doesn't have a grid, you can place buildings wherever you want, with a few minor restrictions for structures that require water or other resources. Foundation isn't the first city builder to do this, but they are few and far between, and ultimately you end up creating a medieval village that does have a more natural feel and look to it than a village that was a perfect rectangle. As the game progresses, you continue to guide the citizens of your village to gather new resources and then construct buildings that require those resources. Or in some cases, rather than building something, they just bang their head against a wall. When Foundation says it has organic development, what they mean is that there are parts of your city that will grow on their own. The two most obvious examples of this are the houses that build themselves when you define residential areas, and the roads that automatically get created as your citizens walk across the land. Part of me became frustrated that I couldn't manage the roads and make things look more neat and tidy, but on the other hand, the people are creating them to make their work and lives more efficient, and that concept is actually really cool. You start off limited to just one hexagonal tile where you can place your buildings, but it isn't difficult to manage your resources and begin saving money to buy new tiles that can act as space for more housing, industry, or farming. Some may be turned off by the fact that this game doesn't offer more of a challenge. As it stands right now, really the only threat to your prospering village is running out of food or having your population become unhappy. My understanding is that more events are on the game's roadmap currently, but right now Foundation is a relaxing city builder rather than a mouse-gripping survival game. I also really like the artwork in this game. It rides the line perfectly between realism and cartoony, making it very enjoyable to take a moment and sit back and enjoy watching your city grow. It also makes crafting your own unique structures a whole lot of fun. Foundation gives you the freedom to design certain buildings such as taverns, churches, and your very own Lord Manor. This is all a part of the monument construction that makes the game unique. I have been surprised with how polished the game has been, considering it's still in early access. I haven't run across a single major bug during my time playing. Aside from a UI that desperately needs updating and the occasional awkward animation or placement that is allowed, the game is fully functional as it is right now. So what's the verdict? Is this game really starting a new era of city building games, and is it worth buying for $30? Here are my final thoughts. Up to this point, I've talked a lot about what Foundation is doing right. Where Foundation has some letdowns is definitely in how challenging it is. It's okay to want a relaxing game, but that should be a difficulty option that can be changed rather than just what is there by default. Though there were a few times when my happiness dipped or my food supply ran a little low, the thought never crossed my mind that my city might collapse. I found myself wishing that I could have that adrenaline rush so I could get the accomplishment of having overcome that challenge, and it just isn't there. It would be nice if there were more events that added a little randomness, so each game didn't feel so similar. In its current state, the only thing is a storm, and it doesn't really impact that much. The game is also lacking some exciting goals to be striving for. I also personally felt like the citizen management could use some work. It was troubling to determine what individuals needed and more effectively monitor who was working what job. While I don't think I would make the claim that in its current state this game is a part of a new era of city building games, I don't think it needs to be. The game is fun to play, and it is bringing some refreshing ideas to the genre. Maybe by the time of its full release, I'll see more reason to consider it a groundbreaking game for city builders. With all of that being said, Foundation has done a lot right here. Constructing modular buildings isn't seen very often in city builders, and there are multiple ways to unlock new buildings. The layout is the largest pro this game has, as the developers really push the fact that players aren't limited to grids when placing buildings, and the fact that the AI is creating its own housing and road network. Overall, Foundation is a really enjoyable game. Like any city builder, as you continue to play the game, you will eventually run out of new buildings to unlock and place, but the developers of Foundation are very active and putting out lots of new content regularly, so I don't think this is going away anytime soon. What do you guys think? Is Foundation living up to the hype? Let me know in the comments down below. And thanks for watching another video from Picking Up Steam.